Sorry about that, guys. Part 2. So back to the judicial system and the Supreme Court. Their job was to make rulings on the Constitution for the main part. That was the main core of their whole job as a whole. And the Constitution's been thrown into the dirt, and they're spitting on it and they're stepping on it, right? So bottom line, you know dang well that these guys were a part of that whole thing. That's why they flipped on their head and they're no longer acting like they've acted for as long as they've been the Supreme Court. And they're going against their normal behavioral patterns, let's put it that way, right? The Supreme Court is now in his back pocket. And if you can't see this stuff and then you want to pussyfoot around and not be frank and honest, we got to start being frank and honest, guys, as citizens. We have voted these people in on Capitol Hill to be our voice and to be what we need to hold the line and to do what they need to do to protect the citizens and to do their job. And they know that. But the Republican side are thumbing their nose at the Constitution, jumping right in the bed with a fascist and going through the whole fascist process and playing this game, right? And we all know what's going on. And they're just going to play, and we're not going to do anything about it, right? So then we start screaming and yelling at our people that are supposed to be voted into office to take care of this sort of thing and to go off and do their job and fight the good fight, and they're afraid of losing their jobs, and they're playing the politics and doing what they got to do. So the Trump fascist, the fascist king, okay, holds trump card at this point in time, right? Until we grow a spine, right? Come back to that whole point of view, grow a spine, right? And we've been wanting the guys on the Republican side to stand up and do their job and to voice themselves against Trump and what he's doing, and they don't have a spine. They're weak, it irritates the heck out of us. We're mad as heck, but what can we do about it except start to go to blows and start killing each other in a civil war, right? That's the sad part about it. We're all trying to avoid going to blows because that's what politics is all about, guys. Politics is to keep us from that last humanistic thing where we start killing each other, right? And you can look at a great example of it is thousands of years in the Middle East of these guys killing each other and getting such hate and some vehemence against the other side that they end up not being able to get out of that vicious cycle that they got going on over there, right? And we try to help them get out of it, but their culture is such that they've been doing it for thousands of years. Our culture isn't that far gone yet, right? They're just starting to turn this whole thing on its head, and now our country is turning into a fascist state, right? Reality and truth, frank and honest, that's exactly what's going on, right? We all know it, but nobody wants to get serious about it and call it out, okay? It needs to be called out exactly like I'm doing in a very frank and honest way and very direct way, right? Stop the bullshit. Grow a spine. Do your jobs on Capitol Hill. And that's exactly what all the people are yelling at the protest. Do your friggin' job. But that anger is not doing us any good. So we've got to figure out what do we need to do in the same way we just did with this situation, that now people are mad enough that we went after their pocketbook and we all boycotted and threw our money. That's all we got to do. Take your money away from them. Stop doing business with them and they'll dry up in a matter of time, right? So when it gets to Capitol Hill, greed, still winning out. Dark money, still winning out because that money is so much that they can make their money and walk away at some point, right? Human nature. It all comes back to human nature, and greed is a big part of human nature, right? It comes back to values and and we've lost a lot of that because we used to be a country that everybody went to church. We all had basically a Christian background, right? And what does that teach you? It teaches you a lot of values that we adhered to through the Bible, period. And then they slowly started taking that away, and now we've got a lot more agnostics. I'm an agnostic. I don't go to church every Sunday, but I was born and raised in the church as a young person. I was lucky. I was very lucky, right? And that being the case, those values have been imprinted in me from a young age. If I ever had kids, I'd want to do the same thing. So we've got to start thinking outside of the box and realize that money is what matters to them, and money's the only time they're going to yell ouch is when they start to really see it and they go, oh my God, we better do something about it. Look what's happening with Disney, right? And all we've got to do is last out. In other words, we can't just right away, Kimmel gets it back and now it's over with, now we can start resubscribing, right? Bullshit. Don't. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than just Jimmy Kimmel losing his job, Okay, it's a lot deeper than that, and we need to realize that, and just realize we have momentum right now, and we have a shift that we need to take advantage of and stay on top of it and keep going, because in the end, what is the real reality of it? We want this fascist king gone and this fascist movement out of our country. That's the reality. That's the truth. And anybody that has a brain at all in their head realizes that, right? And there's millions and millions of us. There's more of us than them. We are the power of the people, believe me. And if it has to get physical and it goes to that point, I'll be the first on the line signing my name, right? But I need leadership to do that. I need somebody to be able to feed me, let me, and give me the rifle and tell me where to go. I need the military leaders that may be retired that are gone. They may have to come in and do their job to do what we need to do, right? And so that when you get to that talk, nobody wants to talk about this because nobody wants to be honest about really what it may come to, right? It may come to that. We may have to do what we've got to do, okay? Because they're not going to give up power. They're going to lie, steal, and cheat to keep the power, okay? And he's already working on it now. And we keep just letting them mouthpieces with our press that's not doing their job. The press is bowing to them by not calling a spade either, right? Excuse me for getting disparaging in that remark, and I don't mean it that way, but that's our cultural stamp with that. But so in other words, we gotta call it out for what it is, period, right? And if we don't, if we keep pussyfooting around and we let the media control this, the media is ignoring half of it. Think about all the protests that we've got going on through our country. Is the main corporate media covering those protests? Are they getting out in the street and really letting it be seen and really no, they've stifled that too. You know, by firing rubber bullets at them when they were in LA and all that kind of crap. That's the same type of thing. They're just trying to stifle dissent. And it works. Unfortunately, that's the case, right? So just realize it. We have to have those that are up top that have the power stop being friggin' weak and standing up to the corporate ladder and realizing that you guys are the ones that if you don't hold the line, it's going to come back to us. And we at some point, we're going to blow up. We're going to blow up and we're going to get violent about it. We want our friggin' country back, period, right? And we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. Everybody says, oh, everybody keeps reminding about the Epstein files. We're not going to stop. That same attitude should be, we're not going to stop about getting our country back. You know what they are. They're fascist. They're authoritarian. They're trying to take over the country and change the way we do business. And what we've done is established ourselves as a leader in the world for over 200 and some odd years. After World War II, we took over that leadership of the world, and now we've succeeded it to this big mouth that's getting cozy with Russia and Kim Jong-un and all the communists and all that. That's exactly what he's doing. He's taking our country to a fascist communist state, authoritarian. We all know what's going on, but yet nobody gets upset to the point where we're starting to do something about it. Protests are the start. Our voice is the start. That's the start. We've got to push on corporate America to say, no, we won't stand for it. No, how do you do that? You figure out a way to not let them have the money that they're so, sitting on the king hill with their corporate money. And they think they can do that and let us, and we will look the other way, that they've got us and they're controlling us. No, they don't have control of us if you're smart enough to realize that we have the last word. Our emotional reactions to what's happening and what happens when we do a protest like we're doing with this boycott, it affects them. Realize that. Learn something from this, okay? And do not let it stop. Keep it going. All right, that's it. Part 2 for me for this morning's Yack Session in regards to what's going on in our culture, our society, and our country. Remember, it's our country, people. We're going to lose it, and we won't have our country, and then we're really hurting, right? You think it's going to get better, it's going to get worse. Pretty soon he's taking people to friggin' gas chambers and killing people just like Hitler did. They got more and more emboldened, until pretty soon they were wiping out the whole Jewish race, right? Because anybody that was in dissent was a threat to them, right? And money's where it came back to. Think about the Jewish culture always have been the money people, right? Because they're smart enough to understand how to make money and how to do that. There's no reason to be upset about them, but that's it. On their side, they want to get, vindictive and jealous and greed, all the stuff that's the man's sins, right? And then wrap the Bible around them and act like they're the Christian. Oh yeah, we're the one. Yeah, we all know better, and yet they wrap the Bible around themselves and can use the Word of God to be able to make themselves feel good and to avoid the reality of what they're doing, right? The reality is that they're wrong. All right, I'm done. Have a good day, guys. I'll come back. I'll see if I can try not to rant, but it's hard. I get emotional about it. I'm needless to say, I'm upset. And there's thousands and millions of us that are upset just as bad, right? So we just got to get more real, and we got to call it out for what it is and really go after it in a very frank and honest way, right? I'll talk to you later. Mark Farashi. Have a good day, guys.